Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse, Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly. Morgan horse Sadie being trained to drive a cart. Mini Zebu heifer Susie being trained to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learning to pull a harrow. Sparky continues to learn obstacles with lead line. Part 3.
Okay. He's saying, well, which barrel is it that you want me to do? We're not so close to the barrel, but I think that was my positioning rather than his issue. Okay. He's tossing his head a little bit, which shows that he's a little nervous.
Yes, because, nervous not because he's afraid, but because he just doesn't know what you want yet.
Good. Good.
And he's bent the wrong way. See, yeah, if you can do that eventually from saddle, where you keep him bent around the barrel going backwards.
Hmm? Good. Good.
It's always easier.
This is a very tricky maneuver.
It is. I was going to say it's the easier of the two dressage movements where you're trying to side pass or leg yield versus half pass. I'm not a dressage person, but the difference to me is which way is the body bent.
Good.
Yes, when you're asking
Good.
for the hind end bend.
This way, I think partially is I'm standing off to his left, so he's going to bend his head towards me.
Ooh, that was very nice. Yes, he's trying. He's
trying very hard. This is an extremely difficult maneuver, especially with a handler that doesn't really know exactly what I'm asking of him. I know I want him to go backwards around the barrels, but he's saying, well, which foot do you want me to move next? And where are we going to end up? So I think he did fine. He's not tossing his head now. And
he has a very calm look in his eye. Okay, but before we go to the teeter-totter, let me ask you to take him out there in the openness. I'm going to leave the camera on. I'm going to get the tarp, drop it in front of him, see what he chooses to do with it. And also, I'll bring the log and drag it around him. It'll be making noises. Let's see how he deals with that. If you ever want him to be a log pulling horse, let's see how much desensitization that's going to require.
Good. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Okay, first the tarp. And it's always better when you have something a little bit spooky like this to have him follow me in a circle. I'm just going to put on my shoulder, because when a horse is going
He's not very concerned about
something, yeah, that might spook them, they get braver. Let him investigate. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to follow you. I'm going to walk out here. You keep going around in a small circle. See, if this thing is following him, he may not be quite as brave, but I want him to see it from his peripheral vision. He definitely can see it. As a matter of fact, he's looking at it. Yeah, he's licking his lips. I'm going to drop it on the ground. So you're ready now in case it scares him. It's a different spooky object when it's on the ground. Let's see if he chooses to play with it. On RFD, I've seen shows where the natural horsemanship trainers are trying to teach a horse to go over a tarp. Took a whole half hour of the show, and you don't even know how long beyond what you saw on the show.
Well, he clearly doesn't have much of an issue with tarps.
No problem with it. Okay, let him stand
What about
up
on top of his body?
Now I'm just going to go and get the log and pull it around him.
Okay.
This is just a vinyl post with a rope on it, long enough so that if you're in saddle you can pull it. Then you have to deal with desensitizing him, feeling the rope everywhere in his body, being able to consider safety factors. If he starts to spook, you don't want the rope wrapping around his legs. Now let's see what he says about this thing that could be a predator. Could be. He's not sure. Okay, now I'm going to be going behind him so he'll hear it. And he's waiting for it to come on the other side. Or did he just
I think he's looking at the other horse.
Yeah.
I think he's... How about it? Okay. Should I follow him?
Yeah, sure. The best way would be just to follow me. I'll make a big enough circle so that you can. That will give him courage. Now see, if a dog comes out at you on the trail, starts barking at you, if you can get your horse to face the dog and approach the dog, the horse will become much more courageous, and the dog less courageous and probably scamper away. It's the prey-predator relationship. If you pull your horse away from the dog is going to be the courageous one and cause possibly further problems. All right, let's see what he says about. No problem. No problem.
Okay. Should I take hold of that?
Sure.
Thank you.
Remembering to drop it if he starts getting so riled up that you feel it's unsafe.
Good. So this is on his left side now, as we go to the left. And turn around, and on his right side. Have it on his right side as we go to the left. if I can get the rope over his back.
How about just the tail of the rope? Oh, you actually want the log to be pulling on his hips?
He seems more eager to chase down the log.
He wants to keep an eye on that thing.
Well, he doesn't seem too worried by it, frankly.
Not at all.
Okay.
Probably after you've practiced from the ground another time or two, you may want to put a saddle on and be ready to get up in saddle and try all these obstacles in saddle. It is, believe me, for some of these obstacles and some horses, a very different activity.
Now we'll pick up the tarp, maybe, with our log. Well, it's definitely coming around.
And it's touching his back leg. That's very challenging. He could start spooking, in which case you're going to just drop your rope.
Right.
Very good. And he's such a big, powerful horse. If you ever do want to learn roping or log pulling from saddle, you probably have a good candidate.
Good boy. That was very good.
That was excellent. All right, now, I'm going to let you go over to the teeter-totter. I'm going to bring the camera over there, and we'll just do a preview of what it's like. How hard is it going to be to get Sparky to cross the moving bridge, the bridge with the fulcrum, in fact, the teeter-totter. Well, here's Sparky's first introduction to the teeter-totter. And what we're going to do is do the easy stuff first. If you go that way, it's going to move. Be careful. It's likely not bad.
Okay, now
I would have said go from west to east across the low side,
okay.
so it won't move. It's just a It's just a bridge, which you can see that Sparky has no problem with. And then you go from east to west. And then what you did, going from south, which is on this end, to north, then you're dealing with the fact that it's going to move once they get past the fulcrum. All right. Now, you kind of surprised him. Now, has he learned that he's going to be afraid of it, or will he be willing to go with you? But let me caution you that if he is going to jump off, you're going to want to make sure you're not in his forward motion path.
that's why I made sure my rope is not looped at all.
Right.
Got the full use of it. And I don't think I'm going to need to drive him anywhere.
I could do something else, too, to make it smaller steps. Just a minute now.
No, I think he's ready.
You really, because I was going to walk through and let him see that it moves, but he's already felt that it moves. So, all right, let's see. We'll back up and take a smaller step if we have to. Oh, beautiful. I would say that he rivals Eve. Eve does that consistently, never has been afraid. Now this may be a little bit more challenging. It's almost like trying to get him to step up on the balance beam. Let him investigate. Oh, he says, whoa. Very good.
Very good.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that's something that you could maybe repeat a few times, but I would say it isn't going to be one of your biggest challenges. And you know, is this going to make him a better trail horse for you? Probably. He's not going to find a teeter-totter out there, though. But
End up on a bad bridge.
sure, he might end up on a bridge. It's kind of rickety and moving, and so will you be able to deal with the stresses? Or maybe the stresses won't even occur. Chris Cox once asked me, because I was asking him about teeter-totters, he said, why would you want your horse to cross a teeter-totter? And I said, because I know it's safe and I want him to do what I ask him to do. Beautiful. Well, he gets an A+ on teeter-totter. No problem. Let's see if he'll go back now. At least from the ground. Remember now, you've done this all from the ground. Will he do it from saddle? Yes. He says, now, Mom, what is this thing?
Do I get a carrot for this?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that a carrot job?
He got a carrot, a reward. Yummy. Now let's see if he'll walk across, and then in my opinion, I think we've done it. Yes. There. All right. Do you want to try it again because you got that push? It's your call.
Stop.
Yeah, because you were trying to keep him on. I think you'd rather have his focus and his agreement to walk across. It's a judgment call. Should we ask again?
I think he's relaxed enough. He's not tossing his head. He's not really nervous about it, but certainly. Carrot.
Absolutely excellent.
Stopping to get a carrot. Now, the question is, can I get him to back up?
You know what? I've never tried that. There you go. You did. You got him to back up. It's now stable. He's past the fulcrum. Really back off. That's almost like stepping off a straight load trailer without a ramp.
Something that obviously you don't want this to happen, but I have had this happen where I forgot to hitch the ball down tight, and my trailer with 2 horses in it detached from the ball of the trailer and was supported by the chains.
Yes.
And the horses had to back out.
Yes. Okay. Alicia is saying that she's had trailer mishaps because she forgot to do something on the trailer, and the horses, 2 horses in her trailer, a step up straight load, and you had to back them out.
With a wobbly trailer.
With a wobbly trailer. You know, that's a good answer. The next time somebody asks me, why would you want your horse to negotiate a teeter-totter? Because it simulates that kind of error.
Which those horses happily didn't panic. But if they had, we could have had a horrible wreck.
I understand.
Something that was a...
Were you at home when that happened, or were you elsewhere?
I was elsewhere. I was on the road.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Driven a ways, but hit a small hill.
Okay, all right. She was on the road and not at home, and thank goodness her horses that she was hauling were compliant to her request to back out of the trailer that was no longer hitched to the ball. Well, okay. I feel that we've done enough with Sparky. What I'd like to do is you could even just let him wander around here. Alicia and I are going to set something up for our next occasion to bring Sparky out here. We want to set up some tarps that we can have parallel but as far apart as we need to ask a horse to enter the tarp corridor and deal with the claustrophobic feeling that they may be experiencing. And we're going to try to do that as just a simulated trailer load event, task. Because if you're loading into a trailer, it can be very claustrophobic. So we're going to set something up in the obstacles area, and we'll show you next time. Here's a new obstacle that we just installed. We'll leave it up here until the winds start blowing for winter. What it is, it's a claustrophobic corridor made up of tarps with clothesline. And to try it out today, we're going to ask Sparky if he's willing to walk through it. It's not even a windy day, but because this one tarp here to the left isn't weighted down, it is flapping just ever so slightly, which makes it a little bit more spooky. Now, will Sparky walk through the tarp corridor? What does he think about this? It's a little scary. He might start rushing. In which case, either you're in there or you're out of there, but if you're out of the corridor, you might lose the line. And we've got some low branches here. This is natural setting. Yes, that was a little bit. We could see stress. We can see it right now. We're in a grove of eucalyptus. No, not eucalyptus, acacia trees, which have low branches. Now, is he willing to go through again? He is. Do you see that this kind of training is going to help Alicia a lot out on the trail when she comes up against obstacles that he doesn't quite understand, but from experience he's learned to trust Alicia. Well, good.
All right.
I'll bet you it's going to be variable. Which horsenality will walk through that?
Well,
and I think next time we will put some kind of a weight down on the blue one so it doesn't, you see how much, even though it's not windy.
Right.
So it doesn't flap them.
Move in on them.
Yeah, so, right, it's not movable, but more just a claustrophobic simulation. All right, that's it for today. Thank you again, Alicia, and thank you, Sparky, for showing us so much improvement and so much willingness. And we'll keep showing you how good he gets. Goodbye. Sonia Sokol, Urban Cowgirl, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com. And this particular show will be under the Obstacles tab of Series 2. With Sparky, and patiently, he is learning to cross the balance beam. You see, he's very good about putting his front feet up there now. Oh, and there's one in the back. This tries the patience not only of the horse, but most definitely of the handler. Yes, but look, he's trying. Yes, he just wasn't sure. He isn't sure yet what the task is, but he sure is trying to understand it. We're going to do a couple of other things with Sparky today. This is going to be a short lesson. Good. Good. He's so carefully placing those front feet. He certainly understands that task. But look at that stretch.
Good. Get the last foot up and you get carrots.
Ah. So Alicia's note of resolution on this task would be if she could get all 4 feet up there. Not walk across, just all 4 feet up there. So we've been working on it now for about 2 minutes.
Good.
Let's see. Uh-oh. I'm going to turn off the camera and just show you when he gets it and tell you how long it took. But look how he walks across with his front feet. That is so cute.
Okay. Good.
There's 3.
Good. Get that foot back on. Good. Other foot. Good. Yeah.
She realizes, Alicia does, that perhaps she's going to change her interim success objective because he just thinks that the job that he's supposed to be doing is walking across with his 2 front feet, which he just did. And she'll work on getting the 3rd and the 4th one up there in due time, one small step at a time. Okay, now Sparky is being asked to cross the square, which now has a black plastic tarp and a little bit of water, a couple of inches of water in it. And I do have rubber boots here, Alicia, if you want to put them on or want me to put them on, go ahead. It is quite a different task to ask Sparky to step down from that bridge, that wooden bridge, which he's certainly comfortable being on, and step into the water. Now, Sparky is a trail horse, and he's crossed many a waterway, but this is a different task, a different perceived predator.
What I want him to do is not just cross it anywhere, but from ideally the middle of the bridge.
Okay, Alicia's goal is to get him to cross from the middle of the bridge. I'm going to turn the camera off for a minute because you see, I see a potential danger there. You see how the tarp is sticking up in the air? So I'm going to tuck it in, or Alicia is, or I'll help her, and then turn the camera back on.
Now, it's interesting because, well, he wasn't worried about being on the bridge before.
He is now, yes. She's noticing that he's giving resistance about the bridge. She now has rubber boots on, by the way, so that she can give him confidence by joining up with him. Alicia knows Sparky quite well, and she anticipated that this would be a challenging obstacle. So first she's going to try to come across, which is easier. We had the same experience with Demi and Lotus. Coming across was much easier than going from south to north and looking down into the water. As camera operator, I of course am trying to stay out of his path of fleeing if he so chooses to. Yeah, this is just going to take getting him okay and confident in his handler, because there's nothing dangerous here. But he doesn't know that yet, and doesn't have enough confidence in Alicia yet. He will, though. I'm confident he will. And the hardest direction, as I said from my experience with a lot of different horsenalities, is from the bridge down into the water. Remember, Alicia, when he looks down, he doesn't know what he's seeing. It's not clear. It's not clear like when we look down. They don't have real good focus in front of their head, so he definitely has to trust you. How about going the other direction?
Starting from the...
Yeah. Let's deal with the water first, and then the bridge, which with Demi and Lotus we found to be a really good idea. No problem at all going from north to south. Let's see what Sparky says. I also have carrots here if you want me to get one.
I have carrots, and I'm actually...
Okay. No, it's also the water. Oh, and it's the tarp. But he was in the tarp, wasn't he?
Yes.
When it was just tarp. So now it's tarp and water. That's very scary to him. And if we don't reach that objective today, that's okay. We'll let you know how he progresses and what techniques work. That's good. Down his lips. His eyes look calm. He's investigating. He's smelling. Yeah, Lotus did a lot of that before he ventured into the water, even from that direction. Resistance. Arm extension behind the drive line. I'm going to walk behind him if it's okay with you. That helped Lotus a lot. Are you okay on that?
I'm okay on that. I'm not going to push him.
Okay.
To be continued in Part 4. Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty and Susie, www.thesocolos.com.